claim that our budget deficit is somewhere around $35 million.
Yes.
And we just given the history of this administration, if they tell us our surplus is 20 million, that means we only got 3. If they tell us our surplus is 3 million like they did last year, and we actually had 10 million in deficit last year.
Well, they campaigned that they had $30 million in reserve and $20 million in the bank. I mean, they
no, I think people need to understand how this government thinks it nothing to mislead the people of this country, because the premier gave an address to the nation just at the end of January, and he declared to this nation that we are on sound financial footing, that we have reserves, that we have millions, he told this country, at the end of January. And when he declared that he's about to spend $10 million on this racetrack. And we'll get to that. Then on February the 11th, in the House of Assembly, the Minister of Finance was asked the question, what is the financial position of the country? He stated that we have no reserves, and we had some 200,000 in the bank. Now at the end of January, the premier said we got millions. We have millions. Solid financial sector.
You can't believe everything.
The Minister of Finance on February 11th declared we have no reserve. And he repeated that yesterday in the House of Parliament. We have no reserves. And just about 200,000 in the bank. Now yesterday he declared
it's worse.
We have no reserve.
No reserve.
And now instead of the 30 million they were saying we had, 34 million that they said we had in January, now he's telling us we have 35 million in debt, no reserve. And based on their track record, if he says 35 million in debt, we could easily believe we have 60 million in debt.
How can we go from at the end of January with $30 million in reserve to here the 21st of April, $35 million under? I mean,
and no reserves. So
that was
87 million of debt we have is at risk, because there's even no reserve. And with the agreement with the British government, there must always be reserve. The reserve must always be at least 20% of our national debt. Because this is where contingency liability comes in. So they haven't even been responsible enough to even live up to that responsibility in terms of keeping the reserves at 20% of the national debt.
Now, they don't think that England is going to be responsible for their debt.
Well, hence, this is why we have this outrageous taxation that they are proposing now.
They're going from $30 million in reserve to now $35 million in the red with no reserve. And now they're going to tax the people even more over their lavish spending that this government have had in the past 5 years. What is going to happen to these Tuscan Caicos?
Well, you know, Rab, if you could recall last year when the jet came on stream, when they put the jet services for the premier into the budget, they budget it at $3 million. But we don't have no auditor here right now, and the audits of this country is I mean, when you look at all of the responsibility, transparency, and integrity, and good governance in this country, it has been thrown. We are operating in a banana republic in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I believe it is time for us to see it for what it is. This government has taken this good country, and I pray to God that soon and very soon God will bless this nation again with a good, responsible PDM government
God,
who believes in integrity and responsibility.
As I stand here as a man of God, God have heard the prayers and the cries of the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands. And He is sending deliverance. He is sending deliverance. And He's going to move this PNP government out of the way. And He's going to put a prudent government in place under the leadership of Honorable Floyd Seymour. And he's going to lead this country. But the PDM government have always been a government that brings the country out of disgrace. We can look back in the 80s, in the mid-80s, when under the leadership of Honorable Norman Saunders, when this country was disgraced. And the PDM government had to come and take the country back in hand and bring our finances back in hand. The country had went through the mud. And here we see our then leader, Honorable Derek Taylor, came back again with the PDM government and took this country to one of its best years this country have ever had, 8 years. And here we see now, after all of that, the PDM have done. The PNP government has come in now, and in less than 5 years have taken this country to hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They have spent. No schools have been built. No hospitals have been built. I mean, and yet we are right now $35 million in the red of the budget that we had from last year. And 100 and something million in debt. God is going to do it again.
And that's not even counting the hospital loan fiasco.
That's right. One of the biggest
that we're dealing with.
The biggest investment that this country has ever had in this hospital deal, $230 million plus tax, plus interest.
Interest, yeah.
Plus interest. And the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands had nothing to do with it. They did it all by the PNP government did it all by themselves.
But they want us to pay for it.
But we have to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. Our grandchildren are going to pay for it. Our great-grandchildren are going to be paying this bill at the First Caribbean Bank.
But the Minister of Health has promised this nation almost 6 weeks ago that within 2 weeks they were going to put the documents on the table so that the people of this country can see what they're going to be paying for and what is this agreement. Well, it's almost 7 weeks and we're still calling on the Minister of Finance and this government to put the document on the table so that the people can see and read and understand what kind of financial entanglement that they're tying up our children into for the next 3, 4, 8 decades to come.
I'm telling you, this is the equivalent of what is happening in the United States right now, where they have been war in Iraq, and they're spending billions and billions of dollars, and that their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren are going to have to pay for the expenses that they're incurring there in Iraq. And we're doing the same thing. Our grandchildren will be paying this bill for decades to come.
Well, Rev, people, and the question came up in the House of Assembly this morning. And I mean, for our viewers, those of you just tuning in, you're watching Let's Talk Politics, coming live from Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos Islands, wired the World Wide Web.